Welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time I'm going to be doing a set of nails on my practice hand. I use a practice hand by Pana, but you can use whichever one you want. I got this one a really long time ago, so I don't even know if this one is still available. I believe I got it either on Amazon or eBay, but I haven't been able to find it. But a lot of the nail trainers are very similar to each other, so I think whichever one you find that has good reviews would be good for you. But I'm basically going to be showing you, of course, how to do a full set of acrylic nails on the nail trainer, and then I'm also going to be showing you all of the products that I'm going to be using. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into the video. So as you guys know, I use the Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink. So I get the big bottle, and you can find these. At first I used to buy it on Amazon, but now I just get it from Nail Supply Glamour. I'll be sure to leave the link in the description as well as the promo code. But I get the big bottle, which is a 1.5 pound bottle, and it just looks like this, and it's just the pink acrylic, which is that really translucent pink. So you know, this is the same one that I use to encapsulate nails. And then I also use the Mia Secret liquid monomer, which just looks like this. And this one is actually a 32 fluid ounce bottle. So they last me a pretty long time. I actually never really just kept track of how long it actually lasted me, but I know that it lasts me a few months. And you guys know that I do nails every day, so it goes a long way. I believe each bottle is like $50, so it's like a little bit over $100 for both of them. So that's a really good price compared to other brands. We're also going to be using some nail tips, which I'm going to use my natural nail tips. And these are actually the ones that I use on my nail trainer. I believe the brand of them is the Eden nail tips. And I like them to use on my nail trainer just because they stick on the nail trainer really easily compared to other tips. Like when they're a little bit more sturdy, they're perfect for your natural nail, but on the nail trainer they're hard to stick on. So if you've tried using my natural nail tips or my clear nail tips on your nail trainer, you will notice that it's a lot harder to make them stick, just because they're like pretty thick, and then these are really flimsy, so they go on the nail trainer pretty easy. We're going to be using the Young Nail Protein Bond. As you guys know, I was using the OPI Bondex before, but I started getting lifting, and I honestly think that I just grabbed like a bad bottle of it, just because I've had it for so long. I always used to tell y'all that the OPI products that I still had were products that I got from like the nail competitions that I used to do, and that's been a really long time now. So I think I'm pretty sure that they have an expiration date, so I'm pretty sure it was just bad. But whenever that happened, like I opened up a new bottle of liquid and powder, and then I ended up buying the Young Nail Protein Bond because I've heard a lot of good things about it, and ever since I haven't had any issues with lifting. So I'm pretty sure it was that primer, it was just a bad bottle, because even before then I was still using the OPI Bondex, and you know, I had no issues. So I think it was just that one bottle, and I just wanted to clarify that for you guys. I'm also going to be using my KDS nail glue, which just looks like this. For my drill, I'm using the Scarlet Melody Susie nail drill, which looks like this. It's been working really good for me. I've had it, I think I started using this one in June when I moved into this room. The only reason why I switched drills was because whenever I moved into this room, I wanted to get like all new everything. I didn't want to have to bring, you know, my other stuff from the other room into here. But even the other drill that I was using from Amazon was really, really good. But I'm absolutely loving this one, no issues whatsoever. The drill bits that I use for a full set, I use a sanding band, which is a 180 sanding band. And then remember, these have to be switched out after each client. So I always keep the old one on there. And then whenever my client comes in, I have a little baggie with all of my new ones right here. So I just switch it out, and they actually see that, you know, I switch it out. So that's really important. I also use my fine drill bit, which this is actually an extra fine drill bit. I feel like the carbide ones, which are like the metal ones, I feel like they're a lot more sharp than like these ceramic ones, which your ceramic ones are going to be these, and it's like actual ceramic. I feel like these are a lot more coarse than these. So when I use a ceramic one, I use a fine one. Whenever I use a carbide one, I use an extra fine. And lately I've been sticking to my extra fine, or I kind of alternate, really whichever one I get first out of my drawer, that's the one I use. So you will see me, you know, changing drill bits, but these are the two that I always use. And then I'm not going to be using this one today, but to remove gel polish, or you know, when you have colored acrylic and you're ready to take it off, I use my extra coarse drill bit, and it's a safety drill bit. As you can see, the top of it is rounded, and this one is by Pana, and I'll be sure to leave all of the links down below. And these I get from Amazon. Next we have our nail file and buffer. Your nail files and your buffers, you want to make sure that you dispose of after each use. Or I know there's people out there that, like, you know, if they have regular clients, they have a little baggie for them with like a nail file, a buffer, maybe a nail clipper, and a cuticle pusher, or maybe even just these two, because these can be disinfected. And I feel like it would be a lot to, you know, have a set for each client. But I know there's people that keep their buffer in their nail file and just put it in a little bag, and they either give it to their client and have them bring it in each time, or, you know, they just keep it like, you know, somewhere stored in a little baggie with their name. There's people that do that. I just, you know, throw my files and my buffers away after each client for, you know, just sanitary reasons. But we're also going to need a cuticle pusher, which you can use a metal cuticle pusher, you can use a wooden, plastic, whatever, but you do want to make sure that whatever you use, you want to make sure that you can either disinfect it or throw it away. Also a nail clipper. I always use the straight edge nail clippers, just because this is what I use to cut the sides of the nails as well, and it works really good. And these I actually got from my local nail supply store, but if you just go on Amazon and just type in straight edge nail clipper, you will find them, and they're just straight at the top instead of like curved. We also are going to be using, I think I already said the glue, the tip cutter. I use this tip cutter, and this one I just got on Amazon. It was like $3 or $4, so you can just find one on there. I'm trying to think, making sure that I'm not missing anything. Oh, my brush. I'm using my Alpha brush. One second. I'm using my Alpha brush in a number 10, which just looks like this. And I actually got some of that product on the brush, so it kind of faded away where it says Alpha. But it's my Alpha brush in a number 10. As you guys know, I love their brushes. They work really good for me, so I do highly recommend them, and I'll be sure to leave this link down in the description as well. What else? And then my monomer and my powder, of course, I don't, you know, use it out of these big bottles. So let's see. So I keep my monomer in this little dapping dish. As you guys know, you want to make sure that when you're using your monomer, you use small dapping dishes. Even though I use this one, I don't always fill it up all the way. I fill it like not even halfway, and then if I need more while I'm doing a set, then I just add more. But you don't want to use the same liquid on multiple people. Just use a little bit at a time. If you run out, just add a little bit more when you're working, and then if you still have just a little bit left over when you're done with that client, just dump it into a paper towel and just throw it away. You also do not want to dump it into your sink, because it could possibly mess up your pipes. And then my polymer, I have it in like this little dapping dish as well, and I just pour it in here and just use it out of here. And then of course I also have like my cover colors, and those, yeah, it got stuck to my drawer, but these I just use straight out of the container. So for my cover colors, I have cover pink, cover beige, cover rose, and I think that's it. I also use my frosted pink a lot. I've been using it a lot lately, which is that nut color that you guys like. And then I also put in some of the glow in the dark powder. I just poured a little bit in here so it does glow in the dark. And what else? I have some my colored acrylics, which I've been using a lot lately. A lot of those are by Mia Secret. I bought 2 of the Mia Secret like little sets. I think one came with like 12, the other one maybe came with like 6 or 8, and those I got on Amazon. And then the other ones, let's see. The other ones which you see me use a lot that look like these are actually from Nail Supply Glamour, and they work really good for me. You know, they're not too thick or too thin. They go on really good, and I do highly recommend those. I actually just bought this one because I was low on my neon yellow color. So this is in the color N9, and I believe they're like $5 or $6, but they last you a really long time because, you know, when you're using colored acrylics, you don't just use a lot. So I'm probably, even though I'm going to be doing a full set, I'm probably going to add a little bit of glitter, maybe an ombre nail, so you guys can get, you know, the feel of just different techniques instead of just doing all one color. And then also it's a little bit hard to, you know, see like clear acrylic or the pink acrylic on these nails, so I probably am going to be using some sort of colored acrylic so you guys can get a good view of what I'm doing. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this stuff up and get started, and then I am gonna change the view so you guys can actually get, of course, a better view of what I'm doing. So just keep watching, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alrighty, y'all, so this is the Pana nail trainer, and the hand actually comes with two different size tips, which is the 2.2 centimeters and the 2.6. So I always use the 2.2 on all of these 4 nails, and then on the thumb I do the 2.6. And they last me a long time just because I don't use them very often. So I actually just threw in like the other ones that, you know, I've done. But yeah, so I've already applied the nail tips. So of course, just like when you're doing a full set on someone, you want to make sure that you trim down their natural nails. So I'm just going to go in and trim down as low as I can. Alrighty, so we trimmed them all the way down. So now we can either just go in with the hand file and just, you know, even them out. But I'm gonna go in with my drill, and I'm gonna be using my sanding band because we do have to remove the shine from the nail. So just like when you're doing a full set, you want to make sure that you remove the shine, because if not, the nail tip and the acrylic will not stick to the nail tip. So I'm gonna go in and use my 180 sanding band. So as I stated earlier, I do remove the old one and apply a new one after each client. All right, and when I'm using my drill with the sanding band, since I'm using my Scarlett nail drill, I use it at 5,000 RPMs. You want to make sure that you're not working with it too fast because you will damage your client's nails. So now what I like to do is just go around the cuticle area first, and then removing the shine from the rest of the nail as well. Just make sure that when you're removing the shine from around the cuticle area, it's like I use the tip of my drill bit, go all the way around, but I usually start from like the very right side. From right there, go all the way around, and make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on their nail. So that's why I always use my pinky for stability, because if I just go in there like this, I feel like my drill is just gonna be like all over the place. Like literally, like you can't really control what you're doing. So with me holding their finger with my pinky, it gives me a lot more stability, and I'm not so heavy-handed when I do this, because you just really gently want to go over the top of the nail. And then I'm also going to be getting rid of like that little bump right there, because it's just harder to work with, but that's supposed to be like your cuticle area. But I'm just going to go ahead and file that off, and you don't have to, but it just helps make the nail tips or the nails look a lot more natural once we apply the acrylic. And then also I use my drill bit, like this drill bit, to just file down on the natural nail, or like even them out, and it just saves me time because it's like a 2-in-1. Instead of having to go in and use my hand file, I can just do this. So same thing for the rest. We go in and just remove the shine. So we go from the right side, work our way all the way around to the left side, just going back and forth, and then also removing the shine from the rest of the nail. Make sure that you keep your drill really nice and flat on the nail. If you use it at an angle when you're doing like the rest of the nail, you will leave indentions in the nail. So make sure that it's like flat on the nail, making sure you go all the way around. And then around the cuticle, since you have that cuticle area right there, you do of course have to go in at an angle, like just like this. but then when you're actually following the nail, you go in really nice and flat. So again, flat on the actual nail bed, and then like at an angle around the cuticle area, and then I'm just doing that extra little filing around that cuticle area to get rid of that lump, but of course you don't have to do this. And then just going in and filing down on the free edge. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to all of the nails, and then I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I finished removing the shine from the natural nail. So remember that when you're done removing the shine, when you're working on a real client, you want to make sure that you check, to make sure that you get all of the shine, especially around the perimeter of the nail bed. So like around the cuticle area and on the sidewalls, because that is really important. And after we finish removing the shine, we're going to go in with the KDS nail glue. And then again, we're going to be applying the Eden nail tips, which I get from my local nail supply store. And usually when I'm doing the nail trainer, when I'm using the nail trainer, I make sure that I apply the nail tips on there a little bit big. So even if it's hanging off the side of the nail, that's fine. But that's only when you're working on this practice hand. Whenever you're working on the actual client, of course, you want the nail tip to fit exactly from sidewall to sidewall. But for this nail trainer, you do want to make sure that the tip fits on there a little bit big, because if not, it's going to be hard to apply the nail tips. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the glue right on the free edge, right on the tip, and then just placing it on the free edge of the nail trainer, holding it down for a few seconds. And it is going to take a little bit longer than, when you're doing a client, but that's just because, of course, you're applying it on plastic, so it dries a little bit slower. Alrighty, so it is completely dry. And then again, it did take a lot longer than usual when we're just applying it on the natural nail. So again, just make sure that the nail tip, even if it's hanging off the nail just a little bit, that's fine, because if not, you're gonna have a hard time trying to apply these nail tips. Alrighty, so once the nail tips are on, I'm gonna go in with my tip cutter and I'm gonna trim them down to the length that I want. I want them kind of like a medium length. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim the nail tips down. Make sure that when you're doing this, you're holding your tip cutter really straight. You don't want it like that or like that. You want it really, really straight. Alrighty, so just like that. And then also, depending on what shape you want, then of course, you would cut it differently. But I'm gonna do, I guess I can go ahead and do different shapes as well. So I guess I can show you. So for the pinky, I'm gonna do square. For this one, I'm gonna do a coffin shape. For the middle finger, I can do a stiletto. And then for the index finger, I'm gonna do a ballerina. So, as always, whenever you're doing the stiletto or coffin, you just trim the sides down with a straight edge nail clipper. That way it helps you save time whenever you're actually filing. So when we're doing these square nails, as you can see, it's already pretty squared, but I still like to go in and just shape it up just a little bit. So filing on the sides at a 90-degree angle, just from the side wall to the free edge. And then we're also gonna file the free edge at exactly a 90-degree angle to make sure that it's really, really straight. Alrighty, just like that. And then now I'm gonna go in and just blend the nail tip right in the middle. And this is just gonna help with the acrylic looking a lot more natural once we, you know, go in and apply the acrylic. Okay, so next we're gonna do the coffin. So now we're gonna file at a 45-degree angle. At first we're going in straight at a 90-degree angle. Now we're gonna just tilt our brush over a little bit at a 45-degree angle, going from the side wall towards the free edge. Just going back and forth, filing on both sides. Making sure you don't file too much on one side because then your nail is gonna be crooked. So try to do the same amount of files on each side. And you're putting most of the pressure on the nail tip because of course you don't want to make this more narrow because, I mean, you just can't. So you want to make sure you're putting that pressure right here on the tip. After that, we're going to file the free edge at exactly a 90-degree angle. And make sure that when you're doing this, you're watching your shape as you file to make sure that it's straight. And then same thing, just blending the nail tip right in the middle. And just like that. So far we have the squared, and then here's the coffin. And then next we're gonna do the stiletto. So same thing as when we did the coffin, except for this time instead of making the free edge squared, then of course it's just gonna be pointy. So we're gonna just go ahead and file on this side, filing at a 45-degree angle as well. And then I'm gonna go ahead and alternate to the other side just because again, we want it to be even. And then if you wanted, like, say you wanted this width at the tip, like this rounded right here, then of course you would just stop and round it off at the tip. But if you wanted like really, really stiletto, which would be really pointy, then I would just say, you know, of course, just keep filing some more until you get, you know, the width that you want at the tip. So this is like really stiletto, and then of course you kind of just round it off. Just like that, and then same thing, just blend it right in the middle. Like that. So squared, coffin, stiletto. And then this one I'm gonna make it a ballerina. I know people call it either like a coffin or ballerina. So this is just basically the same thing as coffin, except for it's gonna be more narrow. Okay, so just like that, and then we're gonna go ahead and file the free edge at a 90-degree angle. And just blending the nail tip. Alrighty, so we have our 4 different shapes. Again, this is squared, coffin, stiletto, and ballerina. And this one did come off whenever I was shaping it, so I am gonna go back in and redefine this shape once I'm done. So once we're finished doing that, we can go in with the protein bond. And of course, you don't have to apply this when you're working on your nail trainer, but I'm just gonna do it so you guys know that this is just the next step. And this you just apply on the natural nail, making sure that we don't get it on the skin. And I also want to go ahead and clarify that when you get your nails done, it should not be painful whatsoever. You know, sometimes somebody might accidentally cut you, whether it's with the drill, you know, something. But getting your nails done should not be painful at all. I know someone may ask that question yesterday, I believe. So I just wanted to go ahead and clarify that. So if you are, you know, getting hurt or you feel pain when you're getting your nails done, then I would suggest, you know, maybe looking for a different nail tech, especially if it's something that you're experiencing each time. So like if your nail beds are burning or something, then that means that they're applying too much pressure, whether it's when they're falling or, you know, it's always going to be something different, but it should not be something that you're experiencing all the time. But anyways, now after we finish shaping up the nails and applying the primer, we're going to go in with our acrylic. And for my paper towels that I use my Viva paper towels. I'll be sure to leave the link in the description because they do have different ones. I always just get 2 and fold them into like a hot dog style, and then I flip it back over and do like a little hamburger style, just like that. And I like them because they're really absorbent. And then for my acrylic, I'm going to be using again my Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink, which I have it in this dapping dish. And then I've already added a little bit of monomer into my dapping dish as well. And then for my brush, I'm using my Alpha brush in a number 10. And sorry, I got product on there, so it kind of erased the name just a little bit, but it's my number 10 in an oval shape. And I'll be sure to leave the link in the description. Alrighty, so I told you guys that I would try to do something to where, you know, I can do like some with just the 4-bar method, some colored acrylic, and then also incorporate some glitter in there and ombre so I can show you guys different techniques. So for my colored acrylics, I'm going to be using a purple and a pink by Nail Supply Glamour. And then I'm also going to be using a glitter, which I'm going to just use my AB glitter acrylic in a number 1. You guys know that I love this one. It's actually the one I have on my nails now. So I'm going to use these. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I think for this ring finger, I'm going to do like just all, you know, with the Mia Secret pink, just to show you guys the, I'm going to call it the traditional technique that I use, which is going to be just my Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink. So as always, we grab our first bead, we place it right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meets, and we gently pat it down. Make sure that you're really gentle when you're doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and start patting it down towards the tip. And then once we get to like the middle, then we're gonna go ahead and start brushing it down. Make sure that you wipe the sides down as well. And when you're brushing it down, make sure that you're looking at it from the sides as well to see, you know, where you have those little bumps and lumps. And then when I wipe it on the sides, that's just so we don't take away from our shape. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and place the next bead right below that first one. As you can see, it's not a super huge bead. I like to work with a little bit of product at a time. That way I don't, you know, have super thick nails. Okay, so I just place it down, pat it down, and then brush it down towards the tip, wiping the tip as well. Brushing it out. And remember that when you're applying your acrylic and you're brushing it down, be really, really gentle because you don't want to just brush that product off. You just want to smooth it out. Next, we're going to go in with the third bead. Again, we're just working with a little bit of product at a time. Placing it down, patting it down, and then brushing it down towards the tip. Okay, so that was the third one. So now the fourth one is going to go right in the middle. This is what's going to build our apex. So I'm going to try to turn it over a little bit to the side so you guys can see. So I place it right there, patting it down. And since we want most of this product to stay right there in that apex area, we're going to pat it down and be super, super gentle when we brush. And basically we're just blending it in. We're not really trying to brush it down towards the tip. We're just blending it in with what's already there. And again, this just creates our apex. Okay, I'm just gonna try to turn it over so you guys can see. I just took it off the freaking chair, but this is what the side looked like. So we have a nice thickness at the tip, we have a nice apex as well, and it's nice and smooth. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next nail. Let's see, I'm trying to work with it because it keeps coming off the back of the chair. I'm just gonna have to struggle, I guess. So for the next one, I think for this one, I'm gonna do the ombre. So when we're doing the ombre, if you know that your client is gonna come back, you know, in 2 weeks and get something different, then you wanna make sure that you place a bead of acrylic over the entire nail. So this one, I'll place it closer to the cuticle area, and then I just brush it down towards the tip. You want this bead to cover the entire nail. And this is just so next time whenever they come back, if they want something different, you can just file away the colored acrylic. And also it helps from, you know, the acrylic not staining the nail if you just place it right on the nail. So we applied a nice size bead. So now we're gonna go in with the color that's gonna go on the tip, which is the purple. I just got a small bead. I'm gonna place it right in the middle. I'm gonna pat it down very gently. Once we get closer to the tip, I'm gonna go ahead and brush it down, wiping the sides down. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna go in and apply another one because it's still, you know, missing some acrylic at the tip. So I'm gonna go ahead and place another bead, and then same thing, brushing it down towards the tip. Okay, so once we have that purple down on the tip, we're gonna go in with the pink. And this one I'm gonna place right in the middle, patting it down and very gently brushing it down towards the middle so we can blend both of the colors. I'm gonna go in and place another bead closer to the cuticle area, same thing, patting it down and brushing it down towards the tip. Alrighty, so just like that. So now I'm gonna go in with the Mia Secret Pink, or you can use your clear. I'm gonna get a nice size bead, place it closer to the cuticle area, and then I'm basically just gonna encapsulate the two acrylics together. That way, whenever we come back to file, we're not gonna be filing away any of the colored acrylic, because if not, then it's gonna look patchy. So make sure that the acrylic covers all of the colored one that was there at first. Wiping down the sides, brushing it down so it's nice and smooth. And then also with this one, trying to make sure that we have a nice apex. As you can see, we have a nice thickness. And then now we can move on to the next nail. So for this one, we're gonna incorporate the glitter. So I'm gonna go ahead and same thing, just applying a bead of the Mia Secret Pink over the entire nail. That way next time if we need to file it off, we can. Placing that bead down, brushing it down towards the tip. And then for this one, I'm gonna also incorporate the pink and the purple. So I'm just gonna randomly apply some of the pink on the nail. Okay, so just like that, no, certain weight or anything, just random on the nail. And then we're gonna go in with the AB acrylic glitter and the number 1. And we're just gonna place it like in the clear spots. And it's okay if you get it, on the purple or the pink. But you wanna place it just mainly on the clear spots. Just like that. And then after that, we can go in and just apply the Mia Secret Pink over the entire nail. Alrighty, so then for the pinky, I'm probably gonna do like something really similar to this one. Unless you just want to do like, all pink or all purple, that would be really cute too. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do another one like that. So same thing, just placing a small bead of acrylic over the entire nail. Or actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just make it purple. So then once you have your pink, I'm gonna go ahead and do a purple bead, placing it in the middle and just patting it down towards the tip. Alrighty, and then after that, we're gonna go in and of course apply another bead closer to the cuticle area. And it's basically the same technique. We place the bead down, pat it down. As you can see, I still have like a little clear spot on the side, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply just a little bit more right there. Once we have a good coverage, we're gonna go ahead and encapsulate that with the pink, or again, you can use a clear. I just use my pink because, it's really translucent, so you can't really tell that it has a pink tint to it. Okay, And that's pretty much it. So again, we did just a regular Mia Secret pink nail. We did the ombre with the neon pink and the purple. We did a glitter one with some pink and purple in there as well, and then just the solid colored acrylic purple. So we're gonna go ahead and put our products up. So again, the colored acrylics are from Nail Supply Glamour. I'll leave that information down below. And then I also use the Mia Secret pink and then my Mia Secret monomer. Once we're done applying the acrylic, we can go ahead and just reshape the nails. So for this one, of course, we're gonna file at a 45-degree angle on the sides. And the reason why we have to go in and reshape is because after we apply the acrylic, it leaves like little rough edges. So we just have to go in and perfect our shape. And then of course the free edge at a 90-degree angle. Okay, just like that. For the middle finger, since it's a stiletto, we're gonna just follow at a 45-degree angle on both sides. And then again, if you don't want it this pointy, then just, you know, round the top off. And then for the ballerina nail, we're gonna do the same thing as the coffin, just 45-degree angle on the sides, and then 90-degree angle at the free edge. Okay, and then this one, okay, this one's dry already. So this one is just gonna be 90-degree angle on the sides, and then 90-degree at the free edge as well. Okay. Alrighty, so just like that. So now if you're a beginner and you don't have a drill just yet, you can always just use a hand file to do your filing. Now we don't have, I'm gonna just take this off. We don't have a lot of filing to do. As you can see, the nails are nice and smooth. We have a nice apex right there. Our tip is, you know, nice thickness as well. So I don't have to do that much filing. So usually when I'm working on the nail trainer, if I do have to do any filing, I just do it with my hand file because it's kind of hard to use the actual drill on this nail practice hand. So I'm gonna just show you, but whenever you're filing your acrylic, I use my extra fine drill bit, and you go around the cuticle area at an angle. I'm gonna take this off, so just so you guys can get a better view. So you file around the cuticle area at an angle like this, so like with the tip of your drill bit. So you just go all the way around to seal this cuticle area, because you want the cuticle area to be nice and flat, sealed and flush. So just make sure that we go around that cuticle area really good. And then for the rest of the nail, you could either file side to side, or, you know, from the top to the bottom to the tip, whatever works for you best. And of course it's kind of hard to hold my the tip, but I'm trying. But I'll just file from the top to the bottom. And then also sometimes if you get acrylic underneath the nail tip, you can always just go in and just file that acrylic off. Really nice and simple. And I mean, that's pretty much it. So again, go around the cuticle area at an angle with the tip of your drill bit to seal the acrylic, and then just going from the cuticle area down towards the tip with the belly of your drill bit, just like that. So again, we don't have that much filing to do, but just, you know, to show you, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And again, it is pretty, it's not hard, but it's kind of uncomfortable and weird to do the filing with the drill on this practice hand, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So same thing, just going around the cuticle area and then filing the rest of the nail. And then if you were using, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. But if you're using just your hand file, then you would basically do the same thing. You go around the cuticle area, get as close as you can, just going back and forth. It's kind of like in a circular motion. I'm going like this, just going all the way around from the right side over to the left side. And then for the rest of the nail, I still go from that cuticle area down towards the tip. And when I'm doing it, it's like I'm going back and forth. I'm not sitting there and doing this. I'm going in there just like this. Make sure that you're really gentle as well. You don't want to cut your client. You also don't want to keep your file in one spot for too long, because it's going to cause friction and it's going to cause your client's nail to burn. So if, like, say you go to the nail shop and your nail starts to burn when they're filing, most likely they're putting too much pressure or they're leaving that file in one spot for too long. I'm going to go ahead and do the same to this one. So again, going around the cuticle area, filing towards the tip. And then as you can see, this one, I'm going to take it off. But this one got some acrylic right underneath the free edge. So this is where I would go in with my drill and I would just file that right off. I don't know if you can see it right there. So it's just a little bit, but I know it's uncomfortable. You know, your client's going to start picking at it until it comes off. And sometimes they will mess up their nails just to get whatever it is off from under the nail. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back on, and that's pretty much it. So now we're gonna go in with the buffer, and as you can see, especially when we do the hand filing, it leaves a lot of scratches on the nail. So if I was to just dust the nails off and apply the top coat over this, you would be able to see those scratches. That's why we have to go in with the buffer, and this is just going to get rid of those scratches. And make sure that if you're working on this nail trainer, be prepared for the nail to come off, because that's just how they are. So just be gentle when you're working with them. So just like that, so we buffed the nails. So that now if you were doing an actual client, you can either go have them wash their hands, or like me, I like to just use an alcohol wipe and just wipe the nails off to remove that dust. Okay. So just like that, and since this one is clear, we're gonna go ahead and just apply some bling on that one. Okay, so for my glue, I'm gonna use the Soleil nail adhesive, and I really like it. The only thing that I hate about it is that it's really hard not to get glue like around the neck of the bottle, like right there. So like I actually have a bottle, like this one I just opened yesterday, and look at it. And like I don't even like, you know, try to get glue on it, like it just happens. So I actually just opened one the other day, and now like I can't open it at all, and I only used it a few times, and now it's like stuck, like it's just no going back. So before I apply the bling, I'm gonna go in with the Color Club polish in the color Harp on it, and this is the same color that I always use underneath my bling, and I just like it because it matches the bling, so you know if anything was to fall off, it won't be too noticeable. Okay, so once the glue is dry, we're gonna go in and just apply the Soleil nail adhesive on the nail, and I'm gonna apply just a little bit at a time, that way it doesn't dry, you know, while I'm applying the bling on the nail. So I always start right in the middle, like around the cuticle area, and I'll alternate between the two different sizes. So these are my SS6 and SS12, and these are the same ones that I always have on my website, which will be back soon. And then again, I just alternate between the two different sizes, and I just fill in the nail like around the perimeter. And this is just a habit, you know, if there's something else that you prefer doing, whether it's starting at the tip or, you know, however, but this is just what I'm used to doing. So I'm just gonna again fill in the entire nail, but I always work my way around the perimeter and then just fill in the middle as I go. Okay, so just like that, as you can see, we don't have any, you know, huge gaps, because since we alternate between size to size, it's like we fill in the gaps as we go. So now all we have to do is just spray that nail with the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator, and this is just going to help that glue dry a lot faster. So I'm just gonna spray it one time. And then after that, I'm gonna apply the Madam Glam Gel Top Coat on the rest of the nails. And as always, I do have a promo code for the Madam Glam. Alrighty, so just like that. So now we're gonna go ahead and cure them under the UV lamp. Make sure that you're careful so it don't touch the top of the light. And I'm just gonna cure for 60 seconds. Alrighty, y'all, so here is the final look. So again, the first one is the ballerina, then we have the stiletto, the coffin, and the squared, and then we did different methods with the acrylic. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GetNail32, and I will see you guys next time.